Melissa, get off of me.
That does not go well. It is Supernanny Saturday and we are less than 100 subscribers away from 1,000, which is a huge milestone here on YouTube because your channel finally gets monetized. If you want to hear about that, stick around toward the end of the video and I'm going to explain what I will be doing with that money. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into Supernanny for the people who don't want to hear all that stuff. The wheel has spoken, grab your beverage and let's dive in.
Jennifer is very, very explosive. She's angry.
You put that.
No, you put that down.
That's not my problem.
Because they're devils. They don't listen.
Let's start by not calling our children little devils. What we can use as a jumping off point for this is if you're ever around a child and they're exhibiting a behavior that is less than ideal, instead of calling that child a name and labeling them, teach them. For example, you're getting ready for the birthday party and you look over and your child is hoarding all of the candy for themselves that you're trying to put out in goodie bags and party favors because you have all these kids coming over today for their birthday. Instead of looking at them and going, oh, you're so selfish, you take all the candy for yourself, do you even care about your friends? No, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go, oh wow, Sally, you look like you really like that candy. You're taking all that candy for yourself. I could even see you sticking it in your pockets because you really like the strawberry ones too. Those are my favorite. Now, here's the thing. It's totally normal to want to keep all of the candy yourself, but we also have people coming over today and our friends are coming over to celebrate your birthday. So, what could we do? How could we solve this? See how that's different? Normalizing the feeling and helping them figure out what to do with that feeling in a healthy way.
I feel like sometimes that I didn't really live a normal teenage life. I had to grow up really fast.
You can leave, but you're going to bed early and you're not getting no snack.
No, I
You can pick. I'll let you pick.
I just want to be the sister. I want to be there for him, not the mother.
It just isn't fair for this poor girl.
This is giving me Chapman vibes. Remember the family with the two older teens that were learning school from home, virtual school, and they had 3 little brothers and they had to take care of their 3 little brothers while they were in school and they had to cook and they had to clean. I did an episode on them and I even did an update at the end. We talked about how CPS was called. It was a whole thing. This is giving me that vibe.
I wasn't in the house long when I saw a clear example of how the children ignore their own mother. They don't look at her facial expressions or her signs.
Ducky.
Jennifer's sister in whispers and I can't see what she's talking. Jennifer, I can't hardly read her lips because she covers her hands, see? I don't like for them to be talking behind my back like that.
This is so sad because it's a missed opportunity to teach the skill of tolerance. As a parent myself, I try to expose my children to as many different situations as possible. We're talking about people with autism, people with ADHD, people who are blind, wheelchair bound, different colored skin, different kind of hair, different bodies, different clothes, as many differences as I can because that teaches tolerance. So you have these parents that are deaf and you're like, what went wrong? What went wrong in this scenario? Because most of the time when you meet someone who had a sibling that was X, Y, or Z, that made them more empathetic. I'm just so glad Joe Frost is here. Please help.
What time is bedtime?
9 o'clock.
Oh, go back.
You're not the boss. Where's
Stop it.
It became too much for Mum. She was very frustrated.
Look at this angel out there hugging Mom because Mom she's at her breaking point. She is done It has been over 2 hours of trying to put these kids to bed. They're running out of the room. They're giggling. They're making it a game. Mom and dad are getting increasingly frustrated. And this doesn't just happen in homes of parents that are deaf. This happens in homes all over the place. But I can hold the empathy that Jo Frost has and the accountability. And that is why I've always been drawn to this show, because look at how she can show this warmth, but also hold her accountable of, okay, I get it, it's hard, but you're also the parent.
She's been helping more than enough. She's been helping you raise your kids, as she is meant to be one of your kids. Change can happen here in this house, and it can happen. It can happen today. Okay, give me your hands then. Because together we make change, okay?
Go Jo, go Jo. She says, number 1, the kids need to learn sign language. How are you going to have clear communication? And then stepdad goes, oh, well, you know, I try to, and they just go away. No, it's mandatory, she says. You are the authority figure. And then she talks about bedtime, which obviously she'll probably do her whole sleeping technique. Whew, it is teaching day. My favorite, let's go.
I went through a list of what's acceptable and what isn't, and the kids gave me sign language of yes when they understood. Every day there is going to be a class that's going to be held by mum or dad, so that you start to learn more and more ASL.
Dad.
Beautiful. Jo Frost brings her rules as she does on Teach Day, and one thing that they are working on is listening. Look at mom and dad in the eyes and actually listen. How do we accomplish that? They need to learn ASL. So she gives her a marker board, and mom draws some things on the marker board, and the kids have to guess what it is, kind of like Pictionary, but they guess using sign language.
So to have this family just for once and all sit down and talk and clear the air is going to be vital.
And you don't even help me with anything.
No.
You always talk about it. You always talk. You never do it.
Melissa?
Get off of me.
That does not go well. When I hear the daughter say things like, you always do this, you never do that, that's telling. When we feel as though in an argument that we need to point out that you never take out the trash, we're trying to emphasize to that person how big it is. But while doing that, we're actually negating our whole point, because I'm sure there was a time that they did take out the trash. So instead of the person receiving what you're saying for what it is, they're just going to be on the defensive and say, well, you know what? Last night I took out the trash and I took it out last week. And when's the last time you did this? And then you never clean your hair off of the shower or whatever it is. And then it becomes an argument of tallying points instead of it being about sharing what you're struggling with and problem solving together.
I knew it was important for Melissa to talk to her mum first.
It's like, you want my help only if I'm babysitting or to clean the house, to be your maid or something.
Anything you need, come to me. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm not going to give up on you. I am with you for life.
Yay. We have some progress. The stimulation has been lowered. Kip is no longer in the conversation. It's just mother-daughter now. And it allows the daughter to be more open. And Dorothy does a great job of just listening and nodding her head. If you're talking especially to a teenager and they don't know how to communicate in a kind way yet because they're still learning, take it on the chin a little bit. They are going to say things that are perhaps out of line, dramatic, and you will have time to work on those skills. Just go into the conversation with a goal. Is my goal right now to get them to be kind in the way that they're talking to me, or is my goal to listen and understand them right now? Because it's like as a teacher, when I read a paper, I can't, if you've ever been a student where you had a teacher who just like murdered your paper, they went through the whole introduction, they crossed out every word that you misspelled, they talked about transitions, you didn't elaborate enough, and you get the paper back and it's just been murdered. The whole paper is just, there's red everywhere. It feels defeating because what skill are we working on right now? So when I would grade writing, especially when I was teaching a skill, I would only go through their paper for that skill. So if we were working on transitions, I looked at their transitions and I focused on that skill. When you're with your children, think, what is my goal in this moment? Because I can't fix everything right now. What do I want to get out of this?
Before Joe arrived, I was so stressed out, I had given up. And then Joe offered me a chance to change and to become a new mom.
You take care of yourself, huh? And let your parents know what you need. Okay, today I'm really proud of you. Just turn it around.
The rest of the episode goes really well. The older daughter starts opening up the communication with the stepdad. They have new games to learn ASL. There's tears at the goodbye. I think Joe Frost made a tremendous difference in this family. Sometimes I watch this show and I go, how much of it is fabricated and how much of it is real? And those tears, unless these people are really good actors, it seems super authentic. Let's see where they are now. This aired in 2008. Let's see how old everyone is. Kip is 61 now. Dorothy is 61 as well. And Dorothy and I have the same birthday, April 19th. Melissa's 34, Jessica's 24, Jennifer's 23, and Kristen is 21. Let's see any updates post-episode. Melissa got married. And she gave birth to a baby boy named Owen. It doesn't give us a year, but congratulations to Melissa. I'm actually not signed into Facebook, and I don't remember my password right now, so we're just going to try these Instagram links. But if you ever want to look these up on your own, all I do is Google Supernanny update, and then the family and the wiki will pop up. So there's Jennifer. Let's see. Hers is private, so all we have are the main pictures. And then here's Kristen. Next week, there will be no Supernanny Saturday. I know, but it's for a good reason. I will be on spring break with my kids. We will be kayaking, we will be making memories, and we will just be freezing time and being very present. As they say, you blink and your kids are older. We won't be here next week, but we will be the following week. And that brings me to the discussion about this channel. Earlier, I told you that we are less than 100 away from 1,000. On YouTube, if you become a creator or you watch other creators, if they don't have 1,000 subscribers as well as 4,000 watch hours, they get $0 of ad revenue. That means when you watch somebody's video and you get an ad, they get paid, right? YouTube gets paid, whatever company, whether you're watching a Pampers commercial or a car commercial or whatever, they pay for that ad spot, but YouTube keeps 100% of that money until you get monetized. Once you get monetized, you get a portion of that, and it depends on what kind of channel you are and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty. So up until this point, I've had this channel for almost 19 months. I did the math. And I haven't received any money for it. I don't say this to complain at all. This has actually been a labor of love. To give you a little bit of background, before I was a mom, I was in the classroom as a teacher. It was so rewarding. What happens in a classroom to me is just magical. And I left the classroom because when I had my daughter, she had severe life-threatening food allergies. It was really hard in the beginning. She cried all the time. We didn't know what was wrong. We weren't in a financial spot for me to stop working and my husband to pay for everything. Like, it was hard. But I knew I couldn't send her to daycare with an EpiPen. I just couldn't. And so we took this jump. I was like, how are we going to pay the bills? I ended up starting a little side business. I said, what if I just start tutoring families on the side and try to make some money? And then eventually that tutoring business blew up, and I was able to not only survive but thrive on it. And then I've continued my tutoring business since. I've had my second child, and now it's been 10 years. And so when both of my kids were finally in school, because my son's in kindergarten now, I said, you know what? I need to do something that stretches me creatively. And I had watched a few YouTubers become successful. I watched them start and become successful, and I was like, that looks like fun. And I knew it was not going to be a sprint, it was going to be a marathon, and that's where we are. So we are at the point where I've done the marathon, I've done the 19 months, and I've enjoyed all of this. I enjoy reading your comments. I enjoy getting to know you. This has just been fun, and it's given me a lot of light and happiness that I haven't had in a little while. So thank you. Now, what am I going to do with the money? It's the first time I'm saying this publicly, so I feel like this is a big deal because it's one of those things like I'm manifesting it. I don't know. Is that corny? Am I one of those people who's manifesting? I am going to use the money, the very little bit of money that it will be in the beginning, to put into a college fund. Now, I already have my bachelor's and I have my CDA, but I want to go back to school. I love learning, as you know, and I want to maybe go back for neuroscience or something with the brain and relationships and children and families, and I'm so excited. So anyway, that's my little share. Thanks for, if you're still around, hi. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I will see you in 2 weeks. I hope that you have a great one. Bye.